Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. Today we are going to make a custom wall-mounted pressure washer station. So this is my current pressure washer setup. If you do a lot of pressure washing, you probably are familiar with this. But my biggest frustration with this is the setup and teardown time. You've got to hook up your garden hose to the pressure washer, hook up your hose from the pressure washer to the wand, run everything out, unkink the lines, and it just takes a long time. So what I want to do real quick, just to show you my frustration with why I want to do something a little bit better, is time how long it takes me to set up and how long it takes me to tear down. Now, one thing that does make this setup as it is a little bit better is having quick disconnects. So you can easily, connect to the pressure washer, connect to a garden hose sprayer, something like that. So you're not sitting there, screwing things on and unscrewing them. So that's one thing that makes it a little bit nicer, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so that is the time required to set up. Now let's go ahead and tear it down and see how long that takes. Okay, all put back. All right, so I know that only took 2 minutes to set up and 2 minutes to tear down, but when you do as much pressure washing as I do, I've got a lot of equipment to maintain. The four-wheeler, the side-by-side, the lawnmower, the tractor, the excavator, both my vehicle and my wife's. I'm probably doing this 2 to 3 times a week, getting stuff in and getting it washed. And I know there's some times where I'll pressure wash 2 or 3 things, put everything away, and then I'll be like, I forgot to do one more thing. And it's just that 2 minutes is just enough to make me not want to do it and put it off to another day. Whereas if I had something that I could literally just pull a hose out and get to town, it would make it a lot easier to start and stop projects, clean up after yourself, put things away. There's also times where I'll pressure wash something in the morning, it'll get real hot out, and I'll just leave everything out and not put it away, and then it's out in the middle of the driveway because I know later in the afternoon or later in the evening, I want to get it back out and clean something else. And this setup that I am going to put together here today, I think is going to make it a lot easier to put it away when you're done, get it out when you want it, and not have such a long setup and teardown time. Because the inside of our garage is lined in this white liner panel and it's ribbed and raised, I'm gonna go ahead and put some nailers up here. That way I can get our back mounting plate out past the ribbing on here. And also when we fix that piece of plywood to our nailers, everything that we're gonna screw into that is gonna be going into wood instead of the liner panel. So if for whatever reason this doesn't work out and we decide we wanna move it to the other side of the garage or somewhere else, we aren't gonna have our nice, clean, white liner panel poked full of holes.
So here we're taking a scrap piece of 1x6 from the sawmill and ripping it in half to create 1x3s for our nailers.
So because this garage is a pole barn style construction, the studs actually run horizontally instead of vertical. And you can always tell where the studs are by where they put the screws for the white liner panel. But I know there's one more stud in the middle here, and I want to locate that. So from that screw to this one is 48 inches, and that would make the other stud right here at 24 inches. And the other way I can confirm that, luckily having a YouTube channel, I've got all this stuff filmed and documented, so I can easily just go back to the video before the liner panel was up and locate those studs. And based on what I saw, the stud is right about the bottom half of this hinge, which lines right up with that 24-inch mark. And something else I'm gonna do to eliminate the amount of holes we're poking in this tin is reuse these existing holes where the liner panel was screwed to the studs. There, that way if I ever do want to move this again, I can just pull that back out and put the white screw head back in there and it'll look like it was never here.
So for the back panel, rather than cutting a full sheet of plywood because it's very expensive right now, I'm scabbing together a couple of scrap pieces. And it's not like we're building a piano here. This is a really good way to use up some of that scrap material that's just been sitting in the corner of my garage for over a year.
All right, so now we have our hose reel and our shelves up. The next thing we need to do is convert that hose reel from an air hose reel to a pressure washer hose reel. Now I have links to all of this stuff in the description. If anybody's interested, it makes it easy for you so you know what you need to get. And there's none of that running back and forth to the hardware store trying to find the right fittings. But one thing that you're gonna need two of is 1/4 inch male NPT to M22 fittings. That's going to convert your air to water or pressure washer fitting. I did upgrade my pressure washer hose to, what was this Uberflex. I watched a lot of car detailing channels, and all the guys that are big into car detailing that have pretty sophisticated pressure washer setups, they highly recommend this pressure washer hose because it's pretty much kink proof. And then you've got a pressure washer adapter set, a pressure washer jumper hose, and I did upgrade the spray wand that comes with the Ryobi electric pressure washer to a swivel pressure washer. That way your hose isn't constantly kinking as you're working around your piece of equipment that you're washing. And obviously for what we're going to be doing here, washing cars, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, all that stuff, an electric pressure washer is going to be more than enough to knock the mud off of the equipment. I'm not going to get rid of the gas pressure washer because this probably is not going to do concrete very well. Plus, the thought behind this is that it's going to be stationary here in the garage. If I ever need to take this somewhere with me, the gas one, I still have that as a backup with more power. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all put together, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, so now we've got our wall-mounted pressure washer station all finished up, and I wanted to walk you through all of the fittings and everything that we had to make this happen in case anybody wants to do this as well. So the first thing I did, starting with the water line or the hose bib, is I went to Home Depot and I got a garden hose Y. That way I can still have a garden hose as well as a line running to the pressure washer at all times, so I don't ever have to disconnect the garden hose to hook up the pressure washer. From there, I've got a 6-foot leader hose running up to the back of the Ryobi 1800 PSI pressure washer. The problem is with this pressure washer, the infeed comes in directly straight in from the back and comes straight out from the front. And so that would have made it hard to hook up the back. So as you can see in the back there, I got a brass garden hose 90. That way I could shoot it straight down the back wall there. And then coming out the front end of the pressure washer, you have your standard quick connect pressure washer fitting. That is going to come out as a male. And in order to hook up your pressure washer leader hose, you need to get a female 3/8 pressure washer quick connect. And then going into the hose reel is going to be the exact reverse order with one exception. So you have your 3/8 quick connect female going into your pressure washer fitting. And then to get into the hose reel fitting, that's where you need that 1/4 inch NPT to your 22 millimeter pressure washer fitting. And then you'll need the same on this side to convert that air hose fitting to a pressure washer fitting. And then pretty much from there, you just wrap up your hose, reel it out. Let's go ahead and see how much time we're gonna save setting up and tearing down the pressure washer. All right, so all we have to do now are 3 things. We've got to turn on the water, turn on the pressure washer, and pull the hose out of the hose reel. All right, same thing for putting it away, reverse order. And this is where that retractable hose reel is so nice. Turn the water off. Turn the pressure washer off and bleed the pressure out of the line. And we're done and put away. So I know turning 2 minutes into 20 seconds may not seem like a big deal, but aside from the time factor, it just makes it so much more enjoyable and easier to use as well. One of the biggest things that I just realized using that for the first time is the swivel head on there for the wand is really nice. You're not constantly, turning that line and creating kinks and coils in it. And that just makes it more enjoyable to use as well. Now there are other options on the market if you don't feel like buying all the fittings and the hose reel and building it yourself. There's a company out there called Giraffe, and they make an all-in-one. It's got the pressure washer, the hose reel, the hose. I think it's got a 100-foot hose instead of just a 50-foot hose. The only thing I didn't like about that is the more reasonably priced options, which are like $300 to $400. You cannot replace the hose. As soon as the hose goes, the whole thing is junk. Now their $600 option, when the hose goes, they've made it so that you can replace the hose. If the pump is still good, you can still fix it and keep using it. But the thing I like about doing it myself is this whole thing is modular. If the pump goes, I can replace that. If the hose goes, I can replace that. If the reel goes, I can replace that. Everything is individual pieces and I can fix it myself if it breaks and not have to replace the whole thing. Anyway, like I said, I will leave a link in the description to all of the fittings and all the parts and pieces required to make this. I will also leave a link to the Giraffe pressure washer, the wall-mounted pressure washer unit. If you're more interested in just having a buy it and mount it to the wall and be done with it, I'll leave a link to that as well. If you guys enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.